At the end of June, this was my top well, and this was my bottom well. And this is the well story. At the end of June, I bought a farm in central Portugal, and I called the farm Bela Pedra because it's got these beautiful rocks. This farm had 2 wells on it, and I was really pleased about that because I'd been told how important it is to have water on the farm. The first well was easy to find, just past the house near the big rock. The first step was to pump out all the water and then start trying to clean out all the mud, years of mud.
Mud, deep, maybe more.
The cleaning of the first well took 2.5 days, and they did an absolutely amazing job. It's definitely not something I could have done myself, and I'm pleased I was able to organize it from all the way in Norway. And I mean, that amount of mud they got out, which apparently is good for compost, but how many years worth of mud would that have been? They cleaned the sides of the well as well, and at the end, the water at the bottom was so clear that you can actually see the granite rock at the bottom. So that is amazing. The problem came when they went to go to the second well, because the second well turns out it wasn't my well. The second well that they found, which I don't think was far away from the first well, turns out to have been on my neighbor's property. So they then started cleaning out my neighbor's well. So I'm sure my neighbor will be very, very pleased. But I thought that didn't look like my second well. So I called on my good friend Alex Blake from Fonte de Pepper, and he went to go and have a look on my behalf. And he said, first well, perfect job. Absolutely perfect job. You can see the granite on the bottom. It's excellent. So he decided to go and have a look at the well the second well that they'd been working on. And when he went for a look, he discovered that yes, indeed, it was definitely on the neighbor's property and not my well, because I didn't remember the second well having any rock walls at all. It literally had just looked like a hole in the ground to me. So having confirmed it was the wrong well, the plan was then to try and find out what had happened to the other well. And so what they did was they remembered my previous videos where I had done a tour of the farm and shown that well. So at least I suppose they knew more or less what they were looking for. Basically, a hole in the ground with water in it. So they knew from my videos it was in the middle of the property near the road coming in. And so they used that as like a landmark to try and find where this well was. And it didn't look anything like it looked when I was there in June. Um, it, yeah, definitely didn't resemble it at all. It seems that since June, the whole area around this second well was completely overgrown, actually hiding the hole in the ground. And as I had remembered, it didn't have any stone walls. In fact, it didn't resemble the other well that I had at all. And so, yeah, my well cleaner then started work on this well and got all the water out. It actually goes down pretty deep, and the amount of mud that came out, absolutely incredible. I think they're quite brave to go into a hole in the ground like this that doesn't have walls or anything, and I think could cave in at any time. But I suppose that's what some people do for a living. I'm pleased to see that the plants around there are growing so well, so that's something good. But it really is difficult to organize these jobs from far away when you're not there to make sure that the right things are happening. But look at that amount of mud that came out of this well. Anyway, the interesting thing with this one is that if you look on the side there, you can see there's was like a hole in the side over there. There you can see it again. And what they discovered is that this isn't actually a well at all, it's a water mine. And that dark hole that you're seeing on the side is apparently a man-made tunnel that goes about 5 meters into the side. So of course I don't really know what a water mine is, so I've tried to do a little bit of research, and there's not that much information on water mines. So if it was a diamond mine or a copper mine or a gold mine, I suppose that would be quite cool. But a water mine, I don't know. Is this a good thing? There's not that much information on water mines, I have to say. I've done a Google search, and it's basically they just give you information about undetonated mines floating in the sea, which this is definitely not. So I'm not too sure what to do. The previous owner said that they used to pump a lot of water out of this well. That's all I know.
Took all this out here, all this out so far.
So what I have discovered about water mines is that it's somehow or other connected to an aquifer, and if I looked at that land survey map, there does seem to be a lot of aquifers in the area. There's a lot of granite rock, so somehow I think it's connected to all of that. If you know more about water mines, please let me know. I'd love to have more information. There's not much out there.